Well, hello everyone and welcome to this week's Discussions with Dolf. And today I am still in Antwerpen. Antwerpen is a port city in the north of Belgium. That's the Flemish name. The French name is Antwerpen. It's very well known. It's also, interestingly, the diamond cutting capital of the world. Apparently more diamonds are cut here than in any other center. And what I want to talk to you about this week is different kinds of real estate, because most people categorize real estate either into residential or commercial. And sometimes they talk about multifamily. And I think we all know what residential property is where people live, and commercial property is where people conduct commerce, shops, offices, things like that. For some reason that I do not understand, multifamily is considered commercial for financing reasons and insurance reasons and appraisal or valuation reasons. I don't understand it. To me, multifamily is just residential on a large scale. Instead of having one family per home, you might have 10 families per 10 block or 10 plex of residential units. But anyway, it is what it is. But I want to remind you that there are many other categories of real estate as well. You've got industrial, you've got hospitality, and you've got specialist. And by industrial, I'm talking about factories and warehouses and places where they do panel beating or smash repairs, as they're called in Australia, where you repair cars that have been in accidents. You have paint shops, you have all manner of things that are industrial. And in hospitality, you've got hotels and motels, and here in Europe, you even have boatels because there are so many waterways. In fact, you can go right across Europe in any direction by boat. And if you haven't done that, put that on your bucket list because it's a lot of fun. And then you have specialists. And by specialists, I mean things like airports and zoos and rocket launch pads and things like that. And if you think that's all far-fetched, it's amazing how close you can come to it, because once I was flying from Los Angeles to London on Virgin Atlantic, and I had my logbook filled out, and the pilot came back to talk with me, and he said, I'm not only the pilot or the chief pilot for Virgin Atlantic, but I'm also the chief pilot for Virgin Galactic. And he said they are about to start their program to launch things into space. And he said, what do you do? And we got talking. He said, well, we want you to find our launch pad in New Mexico. So the difference between you and anyone else being involved in the specialist kind of real estate is only a conversation away. In fact, he said, you should be one of the first to come up into outer space with us. And I ask you, would you go into outer space given the unknown quantity of what the risks and rewards are? And I said, I've got a family that I want to come back to. So anyway, that's just giving you an example. But the reason that I'm telling you all this right here and right now is this is a very wide river. It's about 300 meters across, about 300 yards. And the question is, how would you get across to the other side? And the obvious answer is one of two things. You'd have a punt, which can chug along and take you across, but that's slow. They have a lot of those in Italy, and I love going by punt there. And the other way is to have a bridge. But the challenge with a bridge is no matter how high you make it, there will be boats, and this river, I'm sure you'll agree, can take massive boats. There will be boats that are so high that they'll be too tall for that bridge. Well, then you get bridges that fold open, all manner of different folding bridges and mechanisms for having them open. But that is cumbersome and expensive, and you need a bridge master so that every time a boat that is too big comes along, there's someone that controls it, and they have to line up and wait on this side, and they don't operate from midnight to 6 a.m. or whatever the details are, and on it goes. So I want to show you a different way of getting across the river, and to do that I'm going to have you turn around and look at a building that is behind us there. You won't see it very well now. It's right to the left of those blue poles. It is a somewhat dim colored dark brown brick building, but I'll take you closer and show you exactly what I mean. And this is in fact the piece of real estate I'm talking about, and you probably still can't figure out exactly what it is that makes this helpful in getting people across the river. But come a bit closer and I'll show you. Well, and here we are. Here we're now entering this building, and it's a fascinating building. It's obviously built a long time ago. There is also an elevator that will take you on a journey, but we're not going to take the elevator. We're going to take the escalator. And one of the things that's really fascinating about this escalator is you'll see that it's made entirely of wood. It's just all wood. And clearly we're going downhill. And then you'll see that, the sides are made of wood, the steps are made of wood. That makes it an entire fire hazard. If there were a fire here, that would be a major problem, I imagine. But it's just fascinating what this building does. and you'll see in a moment we're going to get to the bottom and then something's going to happen. So I think you'll agree that this is an extraordinarily long way down. We've come down 2 sets of escalators, and they are longer than most escalators that you'd normally expect to come down. And the interesting thing, and some of you will already be getting it, you'll be figuring out what it is that this thing is coming down to. But it's absolutely fascinating. And you'll notice people are taking their bicycles. Normally they would have taken the elevator, but as I said, the elevator's out of action. And by the way, the elevator here can take 80 people at a time. But what you'll see when you go down here is that there is this massive long tunnel, and this tunnel takes you under the river. The tunnel is just over 500 meters long. That's half a kilometer. The river is only about 300 meters wide, but you'll recall that we came back quite a ways in order to come to the building. And then on the other side, there is a similar building. And it's just fascinating. And the point I want to make to you is this is as much a piece of real estate as any commercial building or any airport or any rocket launch pad or anything else that you've got on this planet. And someone has to run this and control it. And sometimes it's done by municipalities. In this case, it's done by the city of Antwerpen. And in other cases, they're done by private industry. The Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, for instance, was built a long time ago, I believe in the 1930s that was opened. And the government, whoever built it, collected money, but they sold the rights to it to some Japanese company. And every time people go over that bridge now and they pay a fee, money goes to a foreign company. So never restrict your thinking about real estate investing to just residential or commercial or multifamily. There are in fact many, many different forms of real estate. And the wackier they are, sometimes the more profitable they can be. Anyway, from here, I don't know how far under we are. We're probably 100 meters underground, under this massive river going across. I want to wish you, until next time, as always, successful investing. Thank you very much.